Hello students, Jai Swaminarayan. Students, as you know, in our last lecture, we have discussed about nutrition in human being, right? In this video, we are going to discuss about respiration, types of respiration, that aerobic and anaerobic, different pathways of the respiration, then plants are performing respiration, respiration in lower animals, and the most important topic, human respiratory system, right? So students, as you know, we have discussed nutrition, okay, in organism. Now the food material taken in during the process of nutrition is used in cells to provide energy for various life processes, right, as we know. So if we are discussing about respiration, so what is respiration? Actually, it broadly means that respiration is the exchange of gases. Okay, we are simply discussing the process of acquiring oxygen from outside the body and to use it in the process of breakdown of food sources for cellular needs. It's called as a respiration. Okay, same definition I have given in the first video also. Okay, what is respiration? So students, at cellular level, respiration means the burning of the food for generating the energy needed for other life processes. Okay. Now the question arises in your mind is, what is cellular respiration? Okay. So cellular respiration is a set of metabolic reaction occurring inside the cell to convert biochemical energy obtained from the food into a chemical compound called ATP. ATP, you know that it is the adenosine triphosphate, and in detail we will discuss ATP in our next slide. Okay, the structure of ATP and all. So students, now the question arises in your mind that what is metabolic reaction? What is metabolism? So metabolism refers to a set of chemical reaction carried out for maintaining the living state of the cells in an organism. Students, this cellular respiration, metabolism, this is not given in your textbook, so please carefully listen it. Okay, if you don't know about this term like cellular respiration, metabolism, catabolism, anabolism, you can't understand respiration. Okay, so please watch it and listen it very carefully, right? So again, metabolism, it's divided into two categories, that is catabolism and anabolism. Okay, what is catabolism? It is a breaking down molecule to obtain the energy. Okay, by any process breaking molecules to obtain the energy is called as a catabolism. And we can say that respiration is a process of this metabolism, catabolism, okay, which breaks large molecule into smaller molecules and releasing the energy in the form of ATP. So our respiration, it's a process of catabolism, right? Next one is the anabolism. It's a synthesizing all compound required by the cell. Okay, so it is about catabolism and anabolism. Okay, now next is ATP. What is ATP? The structure of ATP. You know students, ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Okay, it is the currency of the cell, we can say, right? You can see in the diagram, it's a structure of ATP. Okay, it has a 3-phosphate group, right? So these 3-phosphate bonds present in the molecule are high energy bonds. Okay, and when they are broken, a large amount of energy is released. Okay, so and such released energy is then used for the other metabolic reaction. So it is the structure of ATP, and due to this breaking of these 3 phosphate bonds, energy is released. Okay. Now respiration in different pathways. Okay, as I told you in starting of this video that respiration has a 2 types, right? And again different organism perform respiration in different ways, right? Some are using oxygen to break down glucose completely into carbon dioxide and water. Okay, and some are using other pathways, and maybe they do not involve oxygen, right? So the in which respiration oxygen is used, okay, we can say it's aerobic respiration, and in which pathway oxygen is not used, we can say it's a anaerobic respiration. Okay, but students, you can clearly see in the diagram, okay, in all the cases, in all the pathway, maybe they all are different, but the first step is common. It is breakdown of glucose, okay, which is a 6 carbon molecule, okay, and it convert into pyruvate, which is 3 carbon molecule. You can clearly see in the diagram, okay, structure of glucose and structure of pyruvate. Glucose is a 6 carbon molecules, okay, C6H12O6, and again pyruvate is a 3 carbon molecule. So in these 3 different pathway, the first step is a very common. Okay, now let's see one by one all pathway. First you can see in the diagram the pyruvate converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Okay, this process takes place in the absence of oxygen, right? And very simple example is the yeast during fermentation, and I can tell another example is the process of curd making in our home, right? We are regularly observe the making of curd. It is again anaerobic respiration, we can say. It is also occurring absence of oxygen, right? So again this process occur in the absence of oxygen, we can say is a anaerobic respiration, right? Next one is in our human muscle cell, okay, lack of oxygen, right? So sometime when there is a lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, another pathway for the breakdown of pyruvate is taken. You can see in the diagram second one pathway, right? The pyruvate is converted into lactic acid, which is also 3 carbon molecule, okay? And this buildup of lactic acid in our muscle cell during sudden our physical activity, we can feel some cramps, okay? It is due to this lactic acid, right? Buildup of lactic acid. Then third pathway is the aerobic respiration, presence of oxygen, right? Breakdown of pyruvate using oxygen takes place in the mitochondria, right? We know that. So this process breaks up the 3 carbon pyruvate molecule, okay, to give 3 carbon molecule of carbon dioxide and the other product in water, right? So this process takes place in the presence of oxygen. We can say it's aerobic respiration, and the release of energy in this aerobic process is more than that of the anaerobic respiration, right? And the energy released during cellular respiration is immediately used to synthesize a molecule called ATP, okay? It's adenosine triphosphate, we have already discussed, and this ATP is used in all other activity of these cells, okay? So these are the different pathway of the respiration. Now next is a respiration in plant. Students, we have seen that plants exchange gases through stomata and the large intercellular space, okay, and that cells are directly in contact with the air, that we know very well. Now carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged by diffusion here, okay, in the case of plant. Now we know that what is diffusion. It's a movement of molecules, okay, any molecule from higher concentration to the lower concentration, okay. They can go into cell or away from them and out into the air, okay. And it is totally depend on the environmental condition, right? The direction of diffusion depends upon the environmental condition and the requirement of the plant, okay. Simply I can give you example. You know that at night photosynthesis is not occur, okay. So carbon dioxide elimination is the major exchange activity going on, obviously, right? And in opposite, during the day, carbon dioxide generated during respiration is used up for photosynthesis. So there is no carbon dioxide release instead of oxygen release in the major event at this time, okay. So again, the direction of diffusion depend in the case of environmental condition as well as requirement of the plant, okay. Next is a respiration in lower animal, okay. We know that lower animals lack a sophisticated respiratory system, right? So respiration in them takes place by very simple exchange mechanism, okay. Here we are taking some example of animal, right? If we are talking about earthworm, so they are doing respiration through their skin, okay. What about fishes? Okay, we know that fishes are aquatic animal, and aquatic animal are using dissolved oxygen, okay, oxygen which is dissolved in the water. So fishes are doing respiration through their gills. Insects have a tracheous system, which is a network of tubes which air circulates and gaseous exchange takes place, okay. Now frog has a very special system. We know that frog is an amphibian, okay. It can live in water as well as on the land. So what happened when frog is in water? It is doing respiration through their skin, and when it is on land, it is doing respiration through their lungs, okay. So it is about respiration in lower animal. Now human respiration, very important and interesting topic, okay. The human respiratory system is a more complex, okay, and involves breathing, exchange of gases and cellular respiration, okay. Now what happened about this? So breathing involves the inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. Now we know that inhalation means taking oxygen, exhalation of remove of carbon dioxide, okay. So this gases exchange take place in the lungs, and oxygen is supplied to all cells of the body, right? And as we discussed earlier that cellular respiration takes place in each and every cell, okay. It is a diagrammatic representation of human respiratory system. This same diagram is given in your textbook also, okay. So watch it and listen it very carefully, okay. What is the function of some organs and all, right? So the human respiratory system involves the nose, nasal cavities, pharynx, larynx, trachea, or we can say windpipe, bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli, okay. These all are the organs of the human respiratory system, okay. As we know, in human, air is taken into the body through the nostril, okay. We are taking air through the nostril, we know very well, right? Then the air passing through the nostrils is filtered by fine hair that are present in our nostrils, okay. And also mucus is also present in our nostril, and also it helps in the process which is present in the nostril, okay. It is also helping in our filtration of air, right? So from the nostrils the air passes through the throat and then lungs. Okay, again lungs are protected in our rib cage. Okay, ribs you can see in the diagram, right? Now in the throat rings of cartilage is present. Okay, you can see in the diagram. Now what is the main function of the ring of cartilage? It ensures that the air passage does not collapse, and it is very necessary. Okay, so again cartilage, ring of cartilage has a main function. What it ensures that the air passage does not collapse, right? Now within the lungs, the passage divides into smaller and smaller and smaller tubes, and then finally terminate in a balloon like structure called alveoli. Okay, you can see in the diagram, zooming is there, alveoli structure, right? What is the main function of that? It provides a surface for the exchanges of gases. Okay, so again alveoli has a very crucial role in the human respiratory system, right? Why? Because it's provide a surface where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place, right? Now main breathing mechanism. Okay, inhalation and exhalation. So the process of taking air rich oxygen is called inhalation, while the process of giving out air rich in carbon dioxide is called exhalation. Now when we breathe in, okay, it's an inhalation. You can see in the diagram what happened. We lift our ribs. Okay, we are lifting our ribs and flatten our diaphragm, and the chest cavity becomes larger as a result. Okay, you can see in the diagram, inhalation. Okay, then what happened? And when we breathe out, again it will become normal, right? So it is about breathing mechanism, inhalation and exhalation, right? So when we are breathe in, air is sucked into the lungs and fills the expanded alveoli. Okay, very clearly, because obviously the air is came into the lungs. Okay, it fills the expanded alveoli. So blood coming from the cells has more concentration of carbon dioxide than outside air. Okay, and then due to this what happened, carbon dioxide simply diffuses out of the blood vessels into the alveoli due to only diffusion. Okay, because what is diffusion? You know, it is movement of higher concentration to the lower concentration. So again blood coming from cell has more concentration of carbon dioxide, obviously, right? So carbon dioxide simply diffuses out of the blood vessel into the alveoli, and obviously then what happened? Oxygen in the alveolar air is taken up by blood in the alveolar blood vessels to be transported to the cell in the body. Okay, again it is a transportation, okay, which we will discuss in our next video, our transportation system and main the structure of heart, right? Then last topic of the respiration, function of hemoglobin. Student, as we have discussed in our first video that diffusion occur in our human body, it is okay, but again it's a very slow process. Okay, and especially when the body size of animal is large, the diffusion pressure alone cannot take care of oxygen delivery to all parts of the body, right? So for that, hemoglobin is present in red blood cells, which efficiently carries oxygen from the lungs to the tissue of the body, and also it helps in transportation of carbon dioxide back to the lungs. Okay, so students, it is all about respiration system. Okay, in next video we will discuss about transportation. Okay, stay safe, stay home. Thank you. Jai Swaminarayan.